The day I was told I could lose my home for selling cookies was the day I realized survival itself could be considered a crime. It started with a single piece of paper taped to my front door. A letter from the HOA. At first, I thought it was another reminder about lawn maintenance or garbage schedules. But as I peeled the paper free, my heart sank. Bold letters stared back at me: notice of violation, unauthorized business on residential property. I stood frozen on my porch, flour still dusted across my hands, the faint smell of fresh-baked cookies lingering in the air. My 8-year-old daughter peeked from the window, her smile wide because she thought another neighbor had come to buy a dozen chocolate chip. Instead, it was a threat. I wasn't running a company. I didn't have employees or a storefront. I was just a single mom trying to keep the lights on. Baking cookies in my kitchen, selling them off my porch. Every cookie carried hope, every sale kept us alive for one more week. But to the HOA, it wasn't hope, it was a violation. A fine. A threat of foreclosure. That night, my daughter whispered, "Mom, are we in trouble?" I wanted to tell her no. But the truth was, yes. We were already in trouble. And I had no idea this fight would divide my entire neighborhood. Before cookies, there were bills. Stacks of them. I never thought I'd end up here. Once upon a time, life was simple: married, a stable home, a little girl who believed her dad hung the moon. But one night, everything shattered. Divorce papers came first, then silence. No child support. No partner to share the weight. Just me. The job I had, part-time cashier at a grocery store, barely covered rent. Forget school supplies, groceries, or utilities. Each month, something was cut: heat in winter, or dinners shrunk to instant noodles. The worst moment? When my daughter asked if Santa had forgotten us. She wanted new shoes for school. I had to smile, ruffle her hair, and say, "Maybe next year, sweetheart." Then I cried in the bathroom, silently, so she wouldn't see. I knew I couldn't keep going like this. Something had to give. And then one night, while cleaning out the pantry, I noticed bags of flour and sugar. They reminded me of my grandmother, who baked cookies for every family gathering. Her secret recipe always filled the kitchen with warmth and comfort. I thought, what if I try? At midnight, I pulled out mixing bowls. My daughter woke up, rubbing her eyes, and asked, "Mom, what are you doing?" "Making hope," I said. We baked. Chocolate chips melting, dough rising, the sweet smell wrapping around us like a blanket. By morning, we had trays full. I set them on the porch with a handwritten sign: "Fresh cookies, $2 each. Help us stay afloat." The first knock came minutes later. A neighbor, curious, bought half a dozen. He smiled, told me they were the best cookies he'd ever tasted. Word spread fast. For the first time in months, I felt alive. But good news travels fast. And bad news? Faster. By the second week, cookies weren't just dessert, they were survival. Every night, after tucking my daughter into bed, I stayed up until 2 a.m. mixing dough. She'd sneak out sometimes, barefoot, asking to help sprinkle sugar or press chocolate chips into the tops. Her giggles made the exhaustion worth it. Neighbors lined up. Kids loved it. One mom said, "This is the highlight of our week." My little porch became a gathering spot, laughter spilling into the air. With every dollar earned, I bought groceries without shame. I paid half the electric bill on time. I even got my daughter the shoes she wanted. But I should have known. Not everyone likes the smell of cookies. Not everyone smiles when someone claws their way back from the bottom. Across the street lived Mrs. Harden, the HOA president. Impeccably dressed, lawn trimmed like a golf course. The kind of woman who smiled only when she was winning. And she was watching. One morning, as I handed cookies to a family, I noticed her blinds shift. Just a flicker. But I felt it, the storm brewing. Still, I kept baking. Because how could cookies hurt anyone? That illusion shattered when I saw the letter. The violation letter wasn't just paper, it was a hammer. Failure to comply will result in fines of $250 per incident. Continued violations may lead to legal action, including foreclosure proceedings. Foreclosure. Over cookies. I marched to Mrs. Hardin's door, letter clutched in my fist. She opened with a smile that wasn't a smile. "This is harassment," I said. "I'm not running a business empire. I'm just trying to survive." Her eyes flickered, cold. "Rules are rules. If we let you sell cookies, what's next? Garage sales every day? Food trucks in the driveway? Property values would plummet." "My property value?" I snapped. "I'm trying to keep my property." But she shut the door, leaving me staring at my own reflection in her glass. That night, I sat at the kitchen table, bills spread like landmines, the violation letter at the center. My daughter tugged my sleeve. "Mom, are we going to be okay?" I wanted to scream. But instead, I hugged her and said, "We'll fight." What I didn't know. The fight was only beginning. The next days split the neighborhood. Some neighbors rallied. One man slipped $20 into my hand, whispering, "Keep baking. Don't let her win." But others? They crossed the street to avoid me. I overheard whispers, "She's breaking rules. If we let her, what's next?" The cookies that once brought people together now divided them. Porch conversations stopped. Cold stares replaced warm smiles. But then, something unexpected happened. A young neighbor posted on social media, "HOA threatens single mom for selling cookies to pay bills." Seriously? The post exploded. Shares. Comments. Sympathy. Outrage. I had no idea how much louder my small story was about to become. Within days, a local news crew knocked on my door. Cameras, microphones, questions. I stood on my porch, holding a tray of cookies, trembling. "I'm not running a business," I told them. "I'm just a mom trying to survive." The story spread. Online forums lit up. People called the HOA heartless. Strangers sent donations. Letters arrived with kind words, "Keep going. Don't give up." And then, my neighbors started organizing. A quiet rebellion. Flyers slipped into mailboxes, "Stand with the cookie mom." Rally at the HOA meeting. The HOA didn't know it yet. But the storm they started was about to hit back. The HOA meeting was packed. Rows of neighbors filled folding chairs, tension thick. Mrs. Hardin sat at the front, gavel in hand, smug. She started, "We're here to address ongoing violations." I stood. My voice shook, but I spoke, "I'm not breaking laws. I'm trying to keep my child fed. If that's against your rules, maybe your rules are broken." Gasps. Murmurs. Neighbors stood one by one. "She's helping this community, not hurting it. We support her." Mrs. Hardin's face flushed. She slammed the gavel. "Order! This is not how we conduct business." But the room wasn't hers anymore. It belonged to everyone else. The battle had shifted. Days later, the HOA backed down. The pressure was too much. Media glare, neighbor unity, it cracked their walls. The fines vanished. The threat of foreclosure dissolved. And then, an unexpected call. A local bakery owner, touched by the story, offered me a job and later, a partnership. "Your cookies have something special," he said. For the first time, survival didn't feel like desperation. It felt like victory. On our porch, my daughter hugged me tight. "Mom, we did it." And I realized we weren't just selling cookies. We were proving that resilience, even in crumbs, could feed a whole neighborhood's courage. In the end, this story was never just about cookies. It was about survival. About standing against systems that punish the weak for daring to fight back. I learned something powerful: communities can be cruel, but they can also be kind. And when kindness rises, it can drown even the strictest rules. So, the next time you see someone hustling, selling food, working late, doing whatever it takes to stay afloat, remember, that's not weakness. That's courage. Because sometimes, the strongest thing a person can do is keep baking.